Ja, einen schönen guten Abend. Wolfgang an die Technik, kurz geht's schon? Okay. Vielleicht können Sie da ein bisschen nach links gehen, damit die Videoschneise freigehalten wird. Genau. Also einen schönen guten Abend. Welcome to Aktionsradius Wien. It's a pleasure for us to have that you are our guests today, and we are starting a new project today, an artistic dialogue, a cultural cooperation called Luftbru. It's a new project, and that means building bridges to other regions of the world, to other topics of the world, and this is the opening of this project, Luftbrücke, Vienna, Beirut. And this evening, this project was set up and organized by Emil Kohlmeier. After a trip to Lebanon in April of this year, and there he met Selim Mawad, an artist. Hello. And we invited Selim to come to Vienna with his exhibition and his art projects. We invited him to a cooperation. And before I hand over to Emil, who is the moderator of this evening, I would like to welcome the guests and the artists of that evening. Yes, we already told it. First of all, Selim Mawad. The artist from Beirut, and he brought with him these impressive pieces, this exhibition, and he also will do an artistic performance this evening. Welcome, Selim. Thank you. And I also cordially welcome Marwan Abado. A well-known world musician. He lives in Vienna, but he was born in Beirut. And today, this evening, he provides the music parts of the evening. Yes, I welcome also Nicola von Leffern and Jakob Karl Sauer. They are here as film directors, and they will talk about their film project. They are planning a film project in Lebanon and Beirut. And today, this evening, they will present a short film of their production. Yes, so it will be an evening with performance, music, film, and talk. The vernissage of Selim's exhibition. It's called The Phoenix Shall Not Rise. Yes. And yes, you will declare it afterwards, maybe. And at the end, we have prepared a small buffet, and we want to invite you to a cozy get-together afterwards. Before I hand over to Emil, just a few brief pieces of information. The evening will also be filmed for our own documentation and for our media archive. We started that archive during the lockdowns, and you can find it on our website www.aktionsradius.at. We have a video archive and also a radio archive, and you can see and listen almost all events of the last 2 years in that archive. And therefore we want to continue that project too. And these recordings of this evening also will receive Selim afterwards for his purposes. But if anyone has a problem with filming or photographing, then please come to me, or that we can find a solution, or we can find the right place in the room. And the best places for not filming would be behind the bar and behind the sound desk and the technic desk.
Or behind the painting.
Or behind the paintings, yeah, behind the paintings. You can hide yourself, yes. Yes, this is our program. We start in autumn and take also our programs with the further events. We are organizing some excursions during autumn, and next week there will be a DJ music on the place outside in front of our office, and inside we start a series about the Austrian Constitution, talks about the Austrian constitutions. Yes, you're welcome, also the next events. And you also can visit the exhibition yourself or with friends during 3 Thursdays in October. Emil will be here, and you also can buy the pieces of Selim, and you can talk with Selim or Emil afterwards. Yes, but now, have a fine evening. We start the artistic part, and I give the floor to Emil Kohlmeier. And thanks to you, Emil, for organizing this artistic stuff.
Thank you. I also want to welcome everyone that is here. I'm really happy to see so many familiar and also unfamiliar faces, to be true. Well, Usha, you already gave a slight overview. I want to first begin that it wasn't just me that was organizing all of this. There were so many people involved, especially Jacob and Nicola, and Selim, and the whole team of Aktionsradius. Thank you. Yeah, we will start with a magical introduction by Marwan. And I also want to invite you to just grab a seat, feel free. We actually just put them for, well, let's say aesthetic points of view the way they are, but they are totally free for you. So just grab a seat, make yourself comfortable. Maybe just make sure that you're like sitting behind this imaginary line, because just so Marwan has a bit of space, and because we are filming it, it would be good like that. After this, Selim and me, we're gonna invite all of you to express through colors here on this podium that we prepared for you. Go crazy, go wild, go soft, as you like. And yeah, I'm curious about that. This will also happen to the music of Marwan, and we're gonna see how we interact, how you interact. And after this, we're gonna show this film that Ushi was already talking about. That is, I want to just mention this. This is not a short film by Jacob and Nicola. It is like idea, concept, and everything is from Selim. And I would also like to ask the name of the actress. Maybe we can talk about it afterwards. But Jacob and Nicola were in Beirut this summer, and they were filming it. So that's the film. Generously. And after the film, we will move to the bar and have a talk about what we perceived, what we are asking ourselves. It will be an open talk, basically. We will talk a bit about Lebanon, how we all basically like found each other, and that's it. I wish us all a very beautiful and colorful evening, and I want to invite Marwan to play for us. Thank you. And also now you can feel free and grab a seat. Okay. Now that we all landed in Beirut, I think, I would like Selim maybe to have a few words before we invite all of you to...
Sorry, I'm having a problem with my mic cable.
Come here, you can use my handheld if you like. Yep, it's just that we are filming and therefore...
Yeah. And
because of the technique.
But Amadeus, do you still hear me? Is it still working?
Selim, you can come here and we just take the handheld. It's easier maybe now. Yes. Now the idea would be that we put a lot of colors on this podium and invite everyone to express. And if there's anything that you want to address beforehand, here's the handheld.
This is black pastel, and you will have lots of pastel on the chair. Can somebody help? Because it's interactive. If we can bring all the colors to the podium. There is a chair in the corner that has lots of colors, exactly. If we can spread them on this podium. And I'll talk later, but thank you, Emil. Thank you, Ushi. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, everybody. After listening to this beautiful music and maybe looking at these colors, let's paint together for like 20 minutes and continue listening to this music. Let's follow the beat of the music. Let's follow the feeling of the colors and express yourself in a free way. Thank you so much. I need a cigarette. No? So, I stay?
We can have a little break with the film.
Austria was a democracy.
I would suggest that we are looking, that we're watching the film now.
Yeah, but can I just watch?
We can watch, yes. There's bathrooms on the left side here. If you go through the paintings.
Can give them at least 2 minutes? Not for me to smoke, just to appease the emotion. Okay?
We'll take 2 minutes, but please stay all inside so we can continue with the film directly. And anyone that wants to wash or not, feel free. Okay, this is basically a very familiar darkness in Beirut. The first time I was there, it's a bit unusual, and it's not coming so so slow like here. It's like this. But we are gonna start the film now. So if the technique is ready, we are ready. And then out of a sudden, the light goes on. Also very familiar. You can have a drink. We all can have drinks. We would like to invite all of you to come to this side because we are planning to be at the bar to have the talk, and it would be amazing just for the cameras and everything if all of you would be on this side of the bar. So take your time to rearrange in the room. And I would like to invite Marwan and Selim and Nicola and Jacob to the bar.
Should I say it publicly? Okay, excuse me, before you start, I'm gonna be a little bit...
Feel free.
I'm gonna be a little bit disturbing of the program because I'm a chaotic person. I would like to thank the performer, Dana Mkhail, who you saw in the film. She's not with us today because we don't have a huge budget to travel together. And Dana, thank you so much for giving us this generous performance. Thank you. Because we didn't have time to put the credit in the film because we're still editing it. And I would like her to be part with us. She's in Beirut. Thank you.
Actually, we finished, you guys finished today, right? Yes. Yeah, why are we here? Jacob and Nicola, we are, yes, we are, absolutely, still. We started this journey, which is a journey for me, about half a year ago. You were already, always talking about Beirut, about your project that is ongoing for the last 4 or 5 years now, even longer, shorter, but you have been in Beirut before. And they were inviting me the last time in March to join them on their documentary trip to Beirut. And we ended up in the house of Selim, who is also renting an apartment in his house. And we had intense and beautiful and super tasty evenings together. And out of this, Selim is an incredible cook. Really. Mwah.
If you want a chef at the restaurant.
Maybe that's a good word. The buffet that we're all gonna have very soon is by Viola, and she's also incredible. And she has prepared some vegan buffet for us, which I'm very much looking forward to. But before that, I would like to go a bit into the topic of all of that. Is everything fine? When I was in Beirut, I was, of course, preparing myself, and we were talking a lot about the project. But once I was there, I was totally forgetting what was happening there. I had the images in my mind of all the news about the explosion that was taking place 2 years ago in August. And I was rewatching videos of the explosion in Beirut, and there it was just hitting me. It was there I could really feel what this meant for this place. And to then talk more about it with Selim and many other people, also in the process of the film, we said, okay, this is basically a global topic, and we would like to yeah, invite you to Vienna and bring your paintings. And now it's mind-blowing for me to see all of this really happening. So what I would like to invite you to maybe say a few words about how Lebanon was actually like changing you through the years, because I feel that it's very much connected also with the topic here, resilience, and how it's like changing everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still exploring it, I would say. For me, it's still tough to have an answer to this question. You have an answer right now?
I can say that much. I think I'm the reason why I dragged everyone there. Because I by chance, I ended up there in 2011. I wasn't supposed to go. I was working with an NGO at the time, and they had a man who was supposed to be on the program. They thought it's a war zone. In 2011, it wasn't. It was beautiful and well off, but the Western perception was that it's a bad place, it's the Middle East, it's dangerous. And they wanted to send a man to do the job. And then this person canceled last minute, and they were looking, if not a man can do it, then someone experienced. And this was me in this case, because I had been working with this NGO for many years. And I was a last resort, and I went. I learned 2 weeks before I was on the plane that I'm going there. I knew nothing of the place. I Googled it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, they speak French as well, I'll be fine. And then I ended up there, and I remember the taxi drive from the airport to the place we were staying. It was a Christian monastery in the south of Lebanon, near the border of Israel. And I remember going there by car and thinking, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Like, why did nobody tell me? This is a beautiful country. It's right at the Mediterranean. You have the hills in the back of you, snowy mountains, lush, how do you say, like greenery, everything grows, the sea ahead of you, a Mediterranean climate, just actually paradise. And I spent a month in this monastery. We were working with children at the time. The Syrian war was about to start. A lot of people were already there. A lot of immigrants, a lot of refugees were already there. You could feel the tension rising. And I came back a changed person. I spent like a month, and I came back a changed person, I think. It was also maybe the happiest month of my life. I felt like I'm expanding, I'm learning, I'm changing my views, I'm changing how the Western media had trained me to see such a region and the people there. And ever since then, I wanted to come back and do something there. And I did, and I brought Jakob, and we made a short film dealing with the everlasting power cuts in Lebanon and the electricity crisis. And then a couple of years later, we saw the revolution happening, which Selim was a big part of, which is also tackled in the film he made. It started because they were planning to tax WhatsApp, but it was just the tip of the iceberg where people said, "Khalas, it's enough. Like, we don't have electricity, we don't have water, we don't have a lot of our needs met. It's very expensive to live in Lebanon. It's way more expensive to live there than in Vienna, to be honest. It cannot be, this is not fair," and people went to the streets and started an uprising. I think you don't like to call it a revolution. Yeah, and I watched this from afar, and then the explosion happened, and I remember being up all night, watching all the videos, crying, talking to my friends in Lebanon, trying to check on everyone, and just feeling like it shook me. And then I said to Jakob, we need to go there and do something, and he's always up for this, which is amazing. We're a good team. And we went, and we started filming, and we're still working on this film. It's been almost 2 years now. And we were already deep in the process, and then we met Selim by chance, because we we rented an apartment in his house. He's also subletting. He's also an amazing Airbnb host.
Because painter, doesn't make you survive.
Yeah, and he has good taste, I can say that much. Everything is very beautifully decorated and artistic. It's a beautiful old building that he takes care of, which says a lot about a person. And we felt very much at home, and we arrived in the middle of the night, and there was no electricity, and there were candles everywhere, and it was dark. And we met Selim this way, and then we changed the project and made space for him, because we thought he's worth it, and we want him in the film, and we want to see his cosmos, and we want to understand what it means to live like this, and to express yourself like this, and to deal with the trauma that he does. And it's not only his trauma, it's really a big chunk of his work is dealing with other people and helping other people, going abroad, going to Syria, going to regions of crises, going to Africa, eventually might end up in Ukraine soon, we don't know. And so now the film deals a lot and circles a lot around Selim. And because we've been in his cosmos so much, the idea was born together with Emil that we change worlds and we bring him here and he can see our side. And here we are. And I think honestly this is the beauty of it all, because we all change each other and we can really stretch our horizons with each other and enrich each other a lot. And also have a conversation, all of us, tonight. And this is where my story ends. Thank you so much.
It wasn't only cold. Now I messed it up. I wanted to say it wasn't only dark, it was also very cold. Because the Mediterranean climate can also be very, very surprising. And in March, we were just freezing. We were really freezing, and Selim was after I think 1 hour, he was carrying up an electric or a gas oven, and we were gathering around this gas oven, having some snacks because we were super hungry. And this also makes me think, because all of those topics that are so common in Beirut and in Lebanon are slowly coming to Europe. And it's today there was a governor from Vorarlberg kind of preparing everyone that there might be a power guidance. I don't know if you heard that. But it's very interesting, because first they try to support people who are using less energy, but very soon it could also be not just a support, but it will be mandatory. So I think there's a huge connection also now that we all might face very soon. Selim, I would like you to explain a bit of your ideas, and because we were talking so much about it, but we haven't talked about it, and yeah.
First, I would like Marwan to say something. I'm an invitee, and Marwan is a local. He's an Austrian universal person. So before I share with you my feelings or ideas, I would like Marwan also to tell us a little bit how he felt when he was playing around all these images and when people started painting. Please.
It's not the question.
No, but
now it is.
For me, this is the question, because it's a collective, interactive reaction, if you like.
No problem. It's a part of my biography. I was born as a refugee in Lebanon, 1967, and I came to Vienna in 1985. So all my childhood and youth I spent during war. So it was war times, and this was very significant in my life, in my daily life, and music and art was always my bridge to leave this place of. It's not only the beauty of Lebanon.
It exists, but
yes, for sure. Today we were speaking, Selim and myself, that we are living in a place like in Lebanon, which is the highest point of ignorance, because people are not able to build a relationship with a tree, with a garden, with a street, with a neighbor, and so on. So it's always complicated. And it's a matter, sometimes it's a matter of surviving, not to have a relationship. But it's also a point of hatred and a point of ugly. It's a very ugly point. Not to have a relationship with your nature, with your surrounding. So, as a refugee, I've witnessed a lot of racism in Lebanon. It was not an easy life for me. My entrance for musical teaching was denied because I'm a refugee. So I witnessed a lot of things which is not belongs always to this place of ignorance. But today, of course, it's another view. It's my individual spirit of feeling music and art, and of course having this biography, my background, and having people and having Selim also this interaction. It's also a bridge how you see the world, and it's also our logic of seeing the world, not the logic of war, and not the logic of building borders. It's our logic of humans are all over the world, very common.
Let's see.
So it's your turn, my dear.
Okay, thank you, Marwan. I'm emotional. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed that I cried, and usually I don't cry in public. I don't want you to applaud, but to lighten up, the mood a little bit, I often, when I was young, because I'm 50 years old now, I came back home, and next morning I was looking for my trousers, and I didn't find them, but I found my jacket. Or maybe I was looking, for one part of my shoes, and I didn't find it. I found the left one, because I used to get drunk and, enjoy my youth. But I guess one of you here tonight shares this with me, because somebody lost his socks. So if anybody lost his... Okay, fine, so this is yours. No, that was a way to lighten a little bit the mood. Before going into what I plan to say, I beg to differ with Marwan on the terminology of ignorance, because I love ignorance and I hate stupidity. At some point in my early life, when I was working in America, against the war on Iraq, I was working with a professor from Georgetown University, and he said, if you are to choose between an ignorant person and a stupid person, who would you choose? And I said, of course, I would choose, a stupid person, because I hate ignorant people. He said, you're wrong. Go for an ignorant person, because with a bit of education, they become smart, but a stupid is stupid forever. So I hope that I'm not that stupid to offer you my art. The way I want to start, I am I am a self-taught artist, so I've been painting only for 5-6 years. I never studied art. But I saw in art, a continuation of my struggle in Africa, in Cambodia, in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, all these countries that I visited, where I lived. Not only visited for a week or two, but I spent years in conflict zone and in Lebanon also. The only place I couldn't, spend time in time of conflict is dear to my heart is Palestine, because I'm not allowed to go there. So anyway, yeah. So art is something that maybe I don't master or I master. This is irrelevant. I'm a psychosocial expert. I work with people in post-traumatic situation after war, violence. And I would like to ask you a question before I speak. That's why we decided to give you the podium, to give you the chance to listen to Marwan playing music after you see the visual. I don't call it art. I don't give a fuck about art. Seriously, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be polite tonight, but I don't give a damn about art, how you call it, freestyle, whatever. I would like to hear from one of you when you saw all this around you and when you came to paint, what did you feel? Could somebody answer me? What was the symbiosis? What was the relation between communication?
I feel like not being afraid, because sometimes you overthink a lot, and I felt like this surrounding just made you do it.
This surrounding here.
Yes,
yeah.
Just not like thinking too much about it.
Can you have the microphone for the camera?
Yeah.
That's because of the...
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. No, I
By the
felt
way,
like
Katrina is an Instagram friend. Who we first
That's
met
how I would
today.
describe myself, Instagram friend. No, so what I thought is just like you weren't afraid, because normally you overthink, especially like we talked about it. No, when did we paint the last time? Like I can't even remember, which we did as a child a lot, maybe, but like as an adult you kind of lose, and maybe then you're afraid of painting that it might be ugly, or you're not you're having too much doubt about yourself, and then you're not even starting. So I felt like today was just like letting go and just being in a safe environment, just letting it go,
So you felt in a safe environment?
I did, because I felt like it was honest.
By all these figures. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share? Why did you come to the podium? And yeah? Nobody? No, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually felt a bit shy.
Shy?
Yeah, I felt shy because for the same reasons maybe, because I saw everyone, intuitively going for it, and I felt like, so I think I colored in some things that were already drawn, because I didn't feel confident to fully go for it maybe.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be an imposter, to pretend that I'm free,
But I'm an imposter on this place. I broke my heart.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't feel.
You got a second chance. Actually, you can just paint.
Even when we're talking, if you feel like going again on the podium, feel free. Anybody else? And I don't want to sound like a teacher, but because I'm dying to smoke.
It's actually not related to the question, but I do want to share something with you.
Please.
So, I'm sorry. My friend and me, Rebecca, we just came back from Lebanon, so we were living the past 6 months in Lebanon. This is also where we met Nicola at the what do you call that? The commemoration of the August 4 port explosion. So we met at the demonstration.
It's not a commemoration yet, and that's the subject of tonight.
Yeah, I think it was in very many ways re-traumatizing, playing the sound of the explosion, but we can discuss this maybe. Anyways, what I want to say is that we just discussed it, and I want to share this story, but because I find it because we came, obviously, because it's Vienna, Beirut, and I find it interesting how lines come together, as you were talking about, music, communicating, art, and how things come together. And when we first came to Lebanon, and when you said you were staying at Nicola and Jakob were staying at your place, we were also looking for a place, and we saw your place.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and we decided on a different place, which brings us to new paths. Yeah. But it's interesting that we came back to Vienna, and we meet you now here. You didn't know this before,
no.
But we know.
Yeah.
So this is very pleasurable, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. I'll get back to that. Anybody else would like to express themselves? Yes.
Yeah, so when I came in, I actually felt a little bit sad, because for me, the pictures or the paintings that you draw are, I feel the violence, I feel the pain, I feel the destruction, and all of that. And then it was weird for me to have them in a space like this, and everybody dressed properly, you know, and having a glass of wine, and you know, like.
Why not?
Yeah. So for me, that was like like painting a little bit, you know, like. And for me, the paintings are really also they show freedom, also, you know, and expression somehow. And then everybody here was a little bit like. So yeah, I think it made me a little bit. Like, what's going on here, you know? Are we still connected to what you show in the drawings somehow? Also including myself, like.
What we spoke about last night a bit.
Yeah.
Anybody else would like to express themselves? Okay. If we look at the screen, you see the silos of Beirut, you know. Yeah, you know, but on purpose. I did it on purpose. Those are the silos where, you know, the nation used to put its wheat. No, I did it on purpose. And then the explosion happened, you know. And Nicola and Jacob and Emile spoke about Lebanon more than I want to speak about Lebanon, because I'm not a nationalistic person at all. And thank you for speaking, because you gave the background. For me, when the explosion happened in Beirut, which is the third biggest non-nuclear explosion in the world after Hiroshima, it was not the concrete that collapsed. And that's why I did all this verticality that you see here. It's the universal human being that collapsed. Not only the Lebanese, not only me who was wounded with 18 stitches in my leg, I don't care, because I was wounded before in Africa and I survived. But I guess, you know, human solidarity was hurt and was collapsed. And it only took, both in Lebanon and in the war, few seconds. And that's what we saw in the film. She was having a kind of a sexual relation with something. And then after the explosion, we see that it was the bull. The bull is the Minotaurus that you see everywhere, which I work on all the time, which is from the Greek mythology. We are half human, half animal, and we always struggle to be good or to be evil. And this struggle is in us, whether we are in Beirut on August 4, the explosion, or in Ukraine today, or in Central Africa, or in Geneva. Everywhere in the world, we are always struggling between how can we be human or animalistic. So that's why I take the Minotaur as a symbol to show this eternal struggle, whether we are Austrian, Lebanese, Palestinians, American, or whatever, within ourselves, and to say that, you know, we're not yet at a place, no matter what our intention of love, peace, and everything, in a place of total solidarity. Because this woman from Lebanon, as me, as, you know, my neighbor, my house was destroyed. After 2 days, we went to the pub and we had a drink. After 5 hours in Los Angeles, they forgot about us because we were no more on CNN, and we were no more on Fox News or on Euronews, and we were no more on Radio Orange. And thank you so much, Misha, for hosting me today. Where is Misha? Thank you. So, and the war in Ukraine is not going to be no more the news, because it's turning into a Cold War. My question is, as human beings, did we reflect enough on the future of our universal solidarity? Or is it only a narrative that we say, I show solidarity with you here and there, and the next day I wake up, I worry about recycling in Vienna, and I worry about the ozone in some other country, and I worry a little bit about Iraq and Afghanistan. I guess, we have an eternal struggle to get the violence out of us. And I'm somebody who embraces not violence, but conflict. Conflict between people is healthy. But people usually are afraid to get in a conflict because it brings the worst in them before they start loving each other. So that's what I wanted to invite you to do tonight. Let's not be afraid of the conflict, because violence is everywhere. And I would like to conclude with something which is very important for me in my academic research. Violence is not always the gun. It's not always the airplane that throws bombs. We have visible violence, according to the philosopher Slavoj Žižek, and we have invisible violence. The F-16 that flies and throws bombs in Iraq and in Palestine and in Beirut, or today in Ukraine, the Russian F-16. F-16 for you, by the way, maybe you don't know what it is. It's a military airplane, It is violent. You heard it in Beirut for the first time in your life. It's violent. And the Adidas and the Puma that we wear and the Nike that we wear in our feet is violence. Why? One is a visible violence. Hitler was a violent man, 20 million killed. It's easy to tell. But a child in Cambodia or in somewhere in the south of the planet producing Adidas, producing Nike, and we are buying it here in Europe or in Lebanon for 300 euros, whereas this child is getting €1 a month. This is invisible violence of capitalism. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening. And this exhibition is not about Vienna. It's not about Lebanon. It's not about any place in the world. It's about the universe. And thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you.
Selim, how do you feel about the painting that's in the middle right here?
I'm going to be very honest, because I feel very suppressed now, because I'm not allowed to smoke. I'm only used to south of the planet countries, Africa, Cambodia, Iraq, Iran, and everything where you can do whatever you want. I tried to move from my spot, where I was painting, to another spot, and I felt the participants, they were not ready yet, that I paint over their work, and they were not ready to come to what I was doing. So I guess it's normal, because we don't know each other yet. So it was a kind of a conflictual dance, but very invisible on the podium. It's like a man or a woman, or a man and a man and a woman who admire each other. Before they kiss or they fuck, they take time, okay? But I would love to get to a point, maybe another event, where we come together. I'm not talking about sex, although I love sex. And then really, really paint together, really. And if now, after this talk, somebody would like to go and repaint Marwan that I painted, or add to it, please feel free. Because art is not sacred. And whoever told us art is sacred was a damn fucking capitalist, even from the 13th century. That's why nobody dares touch the Chapelle Sistina, because fucking Da Vinci did it. Fingers up. I would like to spray it.
With those words, I would like to invite you for a cigarette. And
so to end the conversation.
And we're gonna prepare the buffet now. We would need this table here free, or we just put it on the podium. Let's see. Feel free to continue painting, asking, answering, having a dialogue with all of us. And yeah, thank you.
And I cannot say thank you enough for the house, for Nicola, for Jacob, for Emil, and a new friend, Ushi, for like inviting us. Thank you very much. And Amandeos, welcome. And Joseph, Yusuf, and the rest, I forgot your name, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go smoke. Thank you very much.